Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Flight, and what we're going to spend some time looking at in this little mini lecture are alliances, and we're going to specifically look at some of the concerns and concepts that we would have um, from an alliance standpoint between nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations, and some of the different dimensions that we can think about as that happen between these alliances, and kind of how some alliances are different from other alliances, I guess. And then also we'll spend just a second or two talking about the different benefits that we look at, first order and second order benefits from alliance connections. Okay, so as we look at the collaborations that happen between nonprofits and for-profits, we recognize that not all collaborations are the same. In fact, they differ in many different ways. So we may have, for instance, St. Jude has collaborations with dozens and dozens of different for-profit organizations, St. Jude Hospital, and the level and degree and the specification of the relationship they have between each of the different partners they have vary on many different dimensions. So we're going to look at 7 different ways that these partnerships and relationships can vary. And again, noting that no two relationships between organizations are typically the same. So one would be the number of partners, number of partnerships. Some alliances are one-to-one, but then other alliances that you form with a for-profit organization may include multiple partners or multiple networks, if you will. So it might be that we deal with a primary organization, a for-profit organization, but then they have partners of their own that we also begin to partner with as well. That would be like a network or a group of partners that all have a shared interest with each other. So the number of partners within the alliance may expand to beyond just a one-to-one environment to one-to-many, who all are working in concert for the social cause that is the nonprofit. Another dimension would be the length of the commitment. This could be a time type of an element or a degree of involvement or commitment level as well. So we could have a single event that is expected to take place at a specific time, and we're coordinating an effort with a nonprofit and a for-profit. They form an alliance to create the event. Or it could be that for a long period of time, the relationship exists, and this relationship could be over years and years and years, or even generations for that matter. We looked at Coca-Cola and the Boys and Girls Club of America, and they've been together since like the 1940s. And so we think of that relationship as spanning many, many generations even, positively. So that would be like a long-term type of a commitment. Level of investment, of course, like the degree to which the for-profit and the nonprofits financially are tied. So if it's a significant investment, then that's one thing to consider versus a non-investment. A brief caution or word of warning here for nonprofits: if your nonprofit organization relies significantly on one partner, then that one partner has what we call some type of a power, or could exert some power, coercive power upon you, and that could be detrimental to your operation. So spreading out your financial investors across many different for-profits is probably a wise choice, as opposed to having a single investor or for profit giving you a lion's share of your resources. We need to spread those out so that we can reduce their overall power. Complexity and number of initiatives. So the many different things that the organization is involved with together, and organizations are involved with together, whether they're one or two or many. can add to the complexity of the relationship and the dimensions thereof. From a firm perspective, we think of relationships happening at different levels or scope within the organization or levels of aggregation. So it could be that a nonprofit's involved with a for-profit at the brand level or at a division level or maybe even at the entire enterprise or firm level. And another good example we've looked at before is Procter and Gamble. Procter and Gamble is the enterprise, and they're the firm, but they have lots and lots and lots of different brands. So, for instance, if you have Dawn detergent, and Dawn detergent's associated with cleaning up oil spills. That's like a brand level association, not so much Procter Gamble level, but brand level. So that kind of adds a different dimension in terms of a relationship that you can have. We have different kinds of resources that are committed. So again, organizations look for financial, but they also look for donations and resources that are associated with people like volunteers or expertise. So if we're looking for elements like that, then these types of resources that are provided can vary significantly across organizations. Also, this implies a level of commitment too. So if a for-profit organization is willing to just simply give cash or money, then that doesn't really suggest a very strong involvement. If they're willing to integrate their relationships in a network and provide introductions to other business associates, if they're willing to provide employees as volunteers, or if they're willing to co-coordinate an event together, that's a much deeper relationship than simply writing a check and saying, we'll give you some money. So that's kind of another dimension that we want to think about as well as we move forward. And then finally, the consistency or the regularity of resource donations. So like if a firm is willing to commit to regular resource deployments for the nonprofit, then that's like a consistency type of a concept. Whereas if they are very sporadic, like they only provide a benefit when asked every once in a while, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but it's haphazard and there's not a real pattern, then that suggests an inconsistency and one where the nonprofit really can't plan or try to use that for-profit in its planning process down the road because they're not reliable or not consistent in what they give and when they give. So consistency of resource donations is a seventh type of a concept here. So we had 7 different things: number of partners, whether it's a networked or single partnership organization type of a thing, the length of the commitment, the levels of investment, complexity, and the number of the different dimension or initiatives that are offered, the scope or the level of partnership, whether it's a brand, division, or company level partnership, the kinds of resources committed, and then the consistency of the resources that are committed. Those provide 7 different ways we can think about the relationship between for-profits and nonprofits. Moving forward, we know that there are certain benefits that are offered here as well that are provided. So obviously these relationships are formed because each organization wants something out of the relationship. So there are these primary reasons for for-profits and nonprofits to get together. These alliances produce then first and second order benefits, and that's what we call them. So first order benefits are the benefits that drive the primary business operations and deliver goods for each organization. Most likely, these are going to be focused on sales and other forms of direct revenue. They may also include direct financial payments, contributions of goods, services, and volunteers, specifically to the nonprofit. So the nonprofit, they need financial support. They need resources like things that they can sell and use. They need volunteers, and if the relationship provides those are first order benefits. The for-profit is specifically looking to boost sales and revenue. I mean, that's their goal, right? That's part of their mission. And so the relationship they have with the nonprofit should first and foremost be attached to some type of first order benefits, probably one of the motives that they're going to seek. However, there are also second order benefits that exist as well. And these are benefits that may not directly be things like sales and revenue generating activities, but they lead to those types of things. Without question, we've got improvements to employee morale, support of our corporate social responsibility programs, positioning aspects of the brand, so brand image and things of that nature, and an ability to attract investors who also have an interest in the nonprofit organization. So these types of things are not characterized as sales and revenue generating activities or aspects, but these are all things that could help enhance sales and they could enhance revenue generating activities. So improvements of employee morale, components of your corporate social responsibility program, positioning, and then attracting investors, those all lead to good things. Those are all good things, right? But they lead specifically to revenue generating practices. So these are second order benefits. These are kind of like the secondary things that we look for. And if you're in a for-profit organization and you're considering an alliance or a partnership with a cause, then you want to be deliberate. You want to really think about, look, what am I, how am I going to benefit from this relationship? Where are our benefits that make sense for us in order for us to justify forming a partnership with a specific nonprofit? Likewise, nonprofits also have second order benefits too, above and beyond actual resource enhancements. They get enhanced visibility for their specific cause. They also access new markets that the for-profit is able to bring to them. They're also able to access the for-profit's connections and their corporate expertise, skills in marketing and strategy, and other experiences. So for the nonprofit, they benefit in a number of different ways as well. So not only are their primary benefits or first order benefits realized in additional resources, but they also gain these resources of social presence, awareness. They tap into new potential donor pools and things of that nature, as well as all of the experience that the for-profit has. So think about this, that the nonprofit may not have a lot of business savvy, but if they partner with a prominent for-profit organization, they gain that business savvy through that relationship that they have. And again, that's not a direct resource. That's not a first order resource, but it certainly leads to first order resources in a more efficient way. So second order benefits then contribute to, lead to, or help create first order benefits. All of these are essential or important to organizing the firm or organizing alliances with between firms and for-profits and nonprofits. So as a recap, then, we have a number of different dimensions that are associated with relationships between for-profit and nonprofit organizations. We call these alliance dimensions, and there are 7 of them that we listed earlier, including the number of partners, the length of the commitment, the length of the investment, the complexity of the number of initiatives, the scope of the firm, kinds of resources committed, and then also the consistency over time of the resource donations. And then we looked at first and second order benefits, and we kind of outlined for a for-profit what these first order benefits would be, which are primarily sales and other forms of direct revenue. And then also first order benefits for the nonprofit are primarily financial donations, um, expertise, maybe, and certainly volunteerism. So those are the things that we're looking for specifically from a first order perspective. Remember, second order benefits are things that we gain or get from the relationship that help contribute or enhance our first order goals and objectives. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions on this. I went through this. We went through it fairly quickly, but you can follow along in the text and take notes there as well. Please feel free to reach out to me if you, again, have any questions or interests in this. But this has been a summary then of alliance dimensions. And then the benefits that each for and nonprofit organizations realize from each other.